know that seniors have different needs on the basis of their health conditions or their emotional conditions or other things.
But that is not the right way to evaluate it. Instead, we should ask,
Kind of a situation in terms of senior living. How is India as a country doing when compared to other countries like Japan, Singapore?
because every country has handled aging in its own way. If you ask me, honestly, many people get confused by all these terms.
So, is senior living meant only for the wealthy?
They heard the words like independent living, assisted living, memory care, skill care, nursing and palliative care, continuum of care, etc.
Colonel, we all know that seniors have different needs on the basis of their health conditions or their emotional conditions or other things. So, do we have the same one size fits all kind of a situation in terms of senior living, or are there different kinds of senior living available for people to take help from?
Oh, that's a very important question because honestly, many people get confused by all these terms. They hear the words like independent living, assisted living, memory care, skill care, nursing and palliative care, continuum of care, etc. And they think they're all the same, but they are actually quite different. The easiest way to understand this is to remember one simple thing. Senior living is not a single product. It's a continuum of care. Or if I put it simply, it's a range of services designed to support people at different stages of aging as they come and live in the community. So let me explain each one. The first comes is that the independent living. This independent living is basically it's meant for seniors who are healthy, active, completely independent as when they enter in. They don't really need personal care. What they want is convenience, security, a maintenance-free lifestyle, and most importantly, a vibrant community where they can make friends and enjoy life. Then comes the assisted living. I'll talk about. Here, the people are still largely independent, but they may lead a bit of help. Everyday activities like, for example, the bathing or dressing or taking medicines on time. So, or even moving around safely, or maybe the wheelchair or something like that. So, the idea is not to take away their independence, but to support it. Next is the memory care. This is specially designed for people living with Alzheimer's disease or any other forms of such dementia or such diseases, geriatric diseases. In fact, according to WHO, more than 55 million people worldwide are living with dementia today. And that number is expected to nearly triple by 2050. India too will see a significant increase in dementia cases over the next few decades. So that's why memory care is not just another building. It requires specially designed spaces, highly trained caregivers, structured daily routines, and a safe environment. So that understand the unique needs of people with memory loss. When I talk about skilled nursing, is more it's of something like a hospital, more clinical in nature. Basically, it's meant for people who need professional nursing care, medical supervision, or rehabilitation after maybe a surgery or illness or hospitalization. So that is the thing. And next is the palliative care. Now, many people misunderstand this term. Palliative care is not simply because it's an end of life care. Its primary focus is on comfort, pain management, maintaining dignity, and improving the quality of life for people living with serious illnesses. And finally, the last one is we come to what I believe is the future of senior living, is continuum of care. Personally, I think this is one of the smartest model in the world. Why? It is because people, they don't have to move from one place to another as their need changes. Imagine someone starts in independent living while they are active and healthy. Years later, if they need some assistance, they can move into assisted living. And if they eventually require medical care or high levels of care, then they continue within the same community or the campus. So the surroundings remain familiar, the staff know them, their friends are still nearby, And the transition becomes much less stressful for both the seniors and the family. That is exactly why the countries across the world are moving towards continuum of care communities. And truly, I believe this integrated model represents the future of senior living in India, because aging is not one time event, it's a journey. And the care that we provide should evolve with that journey. But one point here I forgot to tell you is that we, people from India, we are very much attached to our properties. Unlike in Western countries, they move from one facility to other facility. They, like from senior living, then they move to assisted living earlier, and palliative care like that. No, they were doing it. Still, many communities they do that. But in India, nobody likes their property. Like today, you have this property in senior living, then sell it off, then move into assisted living. We are very much attached to the property more than anything else. So, if it is an inclusive model or integrated model where somebody at the age of 55 he enters into the senior living community, then as the time goes, as I said earlier, then he moves into assisted living within the same campus. So it is it's something like he wants that house till he breath last. So that attachment also to be seen.
Can somebody as young as 55 years old move into a senior living?
Yeah, many people say today what happened when you stay outside in a standalone mode, like in individual houses. There are a lot many worries that everyday costs that you have to handle. Like first of all, like you need a domestic help. You need the starting from the milk to newspaper to even the grocery, everything that you have to go fetch it, or at the maximum they'll deliver it at home. But even then, managing financially, managing all the stores management, logistic, everything. Even if you have to go to shop or shopping or outing, picnic or anything, that you have to arrange, you have to make everything for yourself. So the property maintenance is one big thing that you have to do. The paying the taxes and cleaning the house and periodical maintenance, and above all, your own medical care. So all these things are no. If somebody takes care of it, so why not? That it's a comfortable thing as long as your mental stigma with you or your family members, if you can handle that, this is the best choice and very comfortable.
How is India as a country doing when compared to other countries like Japan, Singapore, and of course the US, the UK, and other European countries in terms of senior living? Where do we stand?
Okay, let's have a closer look, because every country has handled aging in its own way. If you ask me, I would say India is probably about 20 to 30 years behind the mature senior living market. Some people may see that as a disadvantage, but I actually see it as a huge advantage. Why? Because we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can learn from the success of other countries. And also, we can avoid the mistakes that they have made. Take Japan, for example. Nearly 30% of the population is above the age of 65. So aging is not just about, not a social issue there. It's a national priority. They have integrated technology, they have integrated robotics and age-friendly urban planning into everyday life. That's what the Japan is doing. But if you look at it, Singapore, they've made aging part of national housing and public policy. Communities are so designed that seniors can continue living independently as long as possible. Australia is one of the world's most developed retirement village sectors with strong regulations and excellent community living models. Again, UK and many European countries focus heavily on the so-called aging in place. In other words, helping seniors continue living safely and independently, supported by strong healthcare and community services. Now, come to US. Honestly, the US has developed almost every type of senior living model you can imagine, whether it is independent living or assisted living or memory care, till the continuum of care communities. They have built well-defined care pathways for every stage of aging. Now let's come back to India. Today, we already have about 150 million senior citizens, and by about 2050, that number is going to exceed 340 million. That's a massive demographic shift. But if you look at the organized senior living sector, the supply is still very limited. Not even 1%, I can say. So it's a challenge, but it's also one of the biggest opportunities that India has seen ever. And here's where I think India has a unique advantage. We don't have to copy the West. We should learn from them, but not simply imitate them. Because, in my opinion, the West has built excellent systems, procedures, and the structured way. India, on the other hand, has something unique and equally valuable. We have strong family values, emotional bonding, respect for elders, and a culture of caring. The challenge is that no, our traditional family structure is changing. Children are moving to different cities, different countries, and lifestyles are becoming busier. So the question is, how do we preserve Indian values in a changing world? I believe the answer is to combine best of both worlds. And if we get that balance right, I genuinely believe India could become a global leader in senior living over the next few decades. And I often say the West has the structure, India has the emotion. So join together, and that will be a better option.
Colonel, you mentioned how senior living makes life easier for senior citizens with all the facilities that are available. But that certainly brings a question of affordability to our minds. So, is senior living meant only for the wealthy and the high class people, or is it meant for everyone?
Very common misconception, Dr. Amita. Many communities in the initial stages, yes, they've designed the community for the affluent retirees. But going forward, the real growth in India will come from the middle class. That's why, when families they think about the affordability, they often look at only the monthly fee. Okay, what is the monthly fee if I stay here? But that is not the right way to evaluate it. Instead, we should ask, what is the total cost of aging at home? Just now I mentioned about it. Now you think about it. There's a housing maintenance, there's a domestic health, security, safety, transportation, and healthcare support, emergency assistance. So home repairs, as I said, house maintenance, and sometimes even full-time caregivers. So as we grow older, when the income depletes and the medical expenses becoming more, all these expenses are gradually, as I said, it'll increase. So instead of paying separately for each for 10 different services, a well-designed senior living community brings many of them together under one roof. Sometimes that can be, actually even more economical also. So, having said that, I strongly believe India doesn't need just one model. We need multiple models to suit different income groups, affordable communities, rental-based communities, cooperative housing models. In fact, more importantly, the public-private partnerships and even government-supported senior living initiatives. These are all very important. Only then can we make a quality aging accessible to a much larger section of the society. So, in my opinion, the next phase of India's senior living revolution will not be driven by the luxury projects. It will be driven by well-designed, affordable middle-class communities. And I believe that it's where the biggest opportunity lies.